I love Battle Royale games. I have played many different mobile Battle Royale games over the years for both iOS and Android devices, and I'm curious, what are your guys' favorite mobile Battle Royale games? If there are some that you play right now, could you let me know down below in the comments? Is it Apex Legends Mobile, Call of Duty Mobile, or are you waiting for Warzone Mobile? I'd love to know. However, as you guys can see in today's video, we have a tier list that we're going to be making. I have a list of 43 different mobile Battle Royale games that you can play on either iOS or Android or both that I'm going to rank from worst to best. This is going to be a really cool video because there's a lot of very unknown games on this list that you've probably never heard of before. There's a lot of games that you can no longer play on this list and games that are exclusive to one or two countries. I hope you do enjoy. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe down below for more content just like this. And with that being said, let's get this tier list started. To begin, we're going to start things off hot with Apex Legends Mobile. I'm going to put this game as an S+ tier game because this is a true next-generation mobile Battle Royale game. I was a little hesitant to play this game at first, but when I played it about a week ago, I was blown away. The graphics are amazing, some of the best out of any game on this list. The movement is next-gen, the gunplay is so smooth, and it's just a very solid game. I can't wait for global release. However, on the flip side, we got a game called Apex Heroes. You see the similarity between these two games? Yeah, it's because this game is a ripoff of Apex Legends Mobile, and it's not a very good one. I played this game about a year ago on my channel because I couldn't get into one of the closed betas of Apex Legends Mobile, and it is terrible. It has terrible graphics, it is clunky, it is slow, very buggy. There's so many things wrong with the game, and there's no wonder why you can't download this game anymore. It is lost in time about a year ago now. Next up, we got a game called Battle Destruction. You notice anything similar between that character and another very popular video game character? Yes, that's because this is another ripoff game, and this is a ripoff of Fortnite's. I don't think it's a very good ripoff. I'm going to put it at D tier because it's still better than Apex Heroes because it's a more complete game. But Battle Destruction is basically Fortnite for people that have like 1 GB of RAM. It's a super low-end device version of Fortnite, and that's really the only thing going for it. The only people that I can see that would actually play this game are little kids and people that have a device that's extremely low-end. Next up, we got Battleground Mobile India. Battlegrounds Mobile India is a solid A-tier game. I'm going to rank the other PUBG games higher. So if you're a PUBG fan, don't worry. Don't get mad at me. I'm going to rank the other PUBG games higher. But Battlegrounds Mobile India is still a very solid game for people that live in India and I think a couple of other countries around the world. It's fun. I really have no complaints with it. Next up, though, we got a game that I do have a couple of complaints about. It's called Battlegrounds Survivor Battle Royale. This is another game that's very similar to Battle Destruction in that it's a very low-end version of PUBG. It's got very basic graphics, it feels very primitive, and it's sort of like 70% of the way there. It's like they started developing the game, and then they kind of just released it at 70%, and it's still very clunky and buggy, and really the only people that would play that game are people that have very low-end devices. Now, I want to be very clear here before we continue any farther in this video. I have everything from C down to F all the way up to S+. C is an average rating. So if I were to put this game at C, that still means it's a good game and that would be worth downloading. Anything below C is not very good and not worth downloading. Anything C and above is pretty good. So if you see any game at C and above on this list, that's still worth checking out on this video. Anyways, with that being said, we're going to continue on here. We got Battle Royale FPS Shooter. This is a game that is sort of another weird mix of PUBG and Fortnite and a bunch of other games with its own unique graphics style. I guess the own unique graphics style is kind of cool, but it just feels like it's very clunky and hasn't been updated very recently. It's another one of those games for very low-end devices, but it's just not very good, and I think it's probably a D-tier game. Continuing on, though, we have a game that's better, and it's called Block City Wars. Yes, Block City Wars has a Battle Royale mode, or at least it had whenever I last played the game. The Battle Royale mode of Block City Wars is actually pretty good. The overall game in general is probably a B-tier game. Battle Royale isn't necessarily its best game mode. It's more of like a pixel gun GTA 5 styled game, but it's still fun and definitely worth checking out if you like games that have more Minecraft styled graphics. Call of Duty Mobile Battle Royale. This is an S+ tier game. I know a lot of people are very burnt out from COD Mobile, but if you remove all of the, burnt outness, I guess you could say, you have to look at the game itself and realize it's a very solid Battle Royale game. This game set the stage for what is possible for mobile game development, and when this game came out in 2019, it was so far ahead of its time that even now in 2022, it's one of the best games out there. It's got some of the best graphics, some of the best gunplay, it's got so much content, it's very, very solid, and it's just a well-rounded game. I really enjoy it. Combat Master Battle Royale. Now, Combat Master is creating a proper Battle Royale mode very soon. It is a Warzone mobile-inspired game, but we're not going to be ranking that one because we don't know what the gameplay is going to be like. So, I'm ranking this as an A-tier game based off of its mini Battle Royale game mode. I did a video on that a couple of months ago. It's basically a game mode where you have 6 to 8 people, they jump into a map, and you have 3 lives. After you die 3 times, you're out. Whoever survives the longest ends up winning the mini Battle Royale mode. It works pretty well. I love the gunplay of Combat Master. Seriously, some of the best out there for any game, and that's why it's ranked so high at A. Creative Destruction. This is a Fortnite ripoff type game, and I really wouldn't say it's a ripoff because I feel like ripoff has a very negative connotation. This is actually a very fun game, and I would put it at B tier. It's the best alternative to Fortnite that you can get right now in 2022. I still think Fortnite Mobile is obviously better, but if you like Fortnite and you want to try something a little bit different, maybe a game that works better on lower end devices, Creative Destruction might be the game for you. Crossfire Legends. This is a C-tier, very average mobile battle royale game. It's nothing special. It's basically an alternative to PUBG, and back in like 2017, 2018, it actually is pretty head-to-head with PUBG, but it hasn't had recent updates, and it's sort of been abandoned, and because of that, PUBG has still maintained being a very good game. Crossfire Legends has lost its edge, and it's now a C-tier game. Cyber Hunter, on the other hand, is actually a pretty solid game. I'm going to put that game as an A-tier game. Even though the game isn't very popular anymore, it's actually pretty dead, as a matter of fact. It has a great movement mechanic, and it's more futuristic. It feels like it's kind of like PUBG, but like a little bit of Apex Mobile mixed in there, like the more futuristic type of side to it. I don't know. It's very cool, and if you haven't tried out Cyber Hunter, I really like it. It's a fun game. I just wish it was more popular, so A tier is a good rating for it. Next up, we got a game called Danger Close. Danger Close is an interesting game that you might have never heard of before. It's better than some of these other weird Battle Royale games. I would say it's better than Battle Royale FPS shooter that you can see right there that says Battle Royale. I'm going to put it at C tier because it actually has some pretty nice sounds in the game, and the graphics is an interesting style, but I just don't think it's on the same level as some of these NetEase games like Creative Destruction and Cyber Hunter. Disorder is another very interesting Battle Royale game. I'm going to put this game at A tier, just like Cyber Hunter. Disorder is very unusual. It's a very different style of Battle Royale game where you have to like infiltrate an island and then you have different bases on the island, but it's still got that Battle Royale aspect to it. I don't know. It's very weird. If you've never tried it out, you might want to try it out and see what I'm talking about because it's different from basically every game on this list. Still fun though. Farlight 84. Farlight 84 is an S-tier game. I can't put it on the same level as a game like Apex Legends Mobile and COD Mobile Battle Royale, but I think this is one of the best mobile Battle Royale games right now. It's still in a bit of an early stage, and I think they're planning on a global release pretty soon. I don't even think there's an iOS version yet, but this game is really, really fun. It's PUBG, but with so many more stuff added to it. Like, you can control vehicles with vehicular warfare, you have jetpacks with different movement, and there's just so much content in it. It's a really fun game, and it's definitely worth checking out. Here's a game that's not worth checking out, though. It's called Fight Night. Yes, I'm sure many of you guys have actually heard of Fight Night. You might have seen it on the Google Play Store if you happen to search up Fortnite. Fight Night is a primitive version of Fortnite, and it's not very good. I'm going to put it at D tier just like these other games. It is just not a good game by any stretch of the imagination. The only people, again, that I could see playing this game are people that have very low-end devices and little kids that just don't understand what Fortnite is, maybe. I don't know. Next up, we got Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier. Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier is a game that I think is very average. It's got some cool aspects to it, but I think the overall game itself doesn't look very good. And I know there's a lot of Final Fantasy fans that are going to hate on me for saying this, but like, I'm not going to sit there and put past Final Fantasy games into my ranking. I have to rank this game separately for what it is, and I don't think it's very good. It's got weird movement, a lot of things wrong with it, and hopefully they update it, because I think this game has a lot of potential. It just, it isn't really realizing it now. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Next up, we got Fortnite. So Creative Destruction was a B-tier game. I think Fortnite Mobile could probably be an A-tier game, if not an S-tier game. I think I'm probably going to put it as... You know, I can't really put it as S tier because Fortnite is a great game, you know, and there's a lot of people that hate on it for no reason just because of the types of people that play the game. I just don't think the mobile version really works too well. Like, you have to have a lot of time spent in order to master the mobile version of Fortnite, and I just feel like that game in general works so much better on PC and console. Like, even on console, it's a little bit difficult, but like, you know, this is really a PC game, and it's really hard for this thing to go over to mobile. So I can't say it's on the same level as some of these other games. I think Fortnite is going to be an A-tier game. Free Fire, on the other hand, is going to be an S-tier game. Yes, I am ranking Free Fire very high because it is very optimized for low-end devices. This is one of the best games you can play if you have a low-end device. If you can't run PUBG because you have too little RAM and you don't have too much space on your phone, Free Fire is probably something that you can download and play. Tons of content. I have heard that recently they're not going the right direction with the game, but still it is one of the most popular games on this list, and they're obviously doing something right. Here we got a game called Game for Peace. Game for Peace is Chinese PUBG. I'm going to put it at B tier. I don't think it's as good as Battlegrounds Mobile India because it's the Chinese version of the game. I talked about this in my last video where I think they probably take a lot of your data when you're playing the game, so I don't think it's a very secure app, but I guess it's kind of cool because it has unique stuff that you don't see in regular PUBG and Battlegrounds Mobile India. I just don't know if I would play it. Probably don't download that game, alright? Here's another Chinese game. It's called Glorious Mission. I did a video on this game a long time ago, several years ago, talking about the forgotten Battle Royale game made by Tencent. And very similar to Crossfire Legends, which is also made by Tencent, as a matter of fact. This game has been forgotten by the developers. It has not been developed and updated in many years, and it's basically kind of a bad game now. It's basically like the alpha version of PUBG. Like, you can imagine what an alpha test would have been like for PUBG Mobile before it came out in early 2018. That's what I would imagine this game would have been like, all right? So, yeah, it's not a very good game, not worth checking out. I don't even think you can play it anymore in 2022. You certainly can't find it on the App Store and the Google Play Store. Next up, we got Grand Battle Royale. Grand Battle Royale is a pixelated battle royale game. It's fun, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say it's on the same level as Block City Wars. I'm going to put it at D tier just like many of these other games because it kind of just capitalized on pixelated shooting games and PUBG. And nowadays in 2022, it's a pretty outdated game. The graphics are not that great, and yeah, it's fun maybe for 5 minutes, but then you get pretty bored pretty quickly. Here we have Hopeless Land. Hopeless Land is just like Crossfire Legends. It's another one of those games that was created to be a competitor to PUBG Mobile, and unfortunately, nowadays, it just doesn't really get the updates that it's needing in order to, you know, maintain its edge on PUBG Mobile. So now it's probably just an average game like Crossfire Legends, and there's not too much to talk about there. Here we have a game that is another F-tier game. It is called Islands of Battle Royale. This is an iOS exclusive game. I made a video on it very recently. I talked about this game claims it has next-gen graphics, and I mean, you guys can see it is not a very good-looking game. It looks like some little kid created this game, and it is just so bad, so bad. Don't try this game out. It's free, which is, you know, I guess kind of cool, but it's just not a very good game. Here we have a game called Knives Out. Knives Out is another one of these games that's an alternative to PUBG. I personally think it's better than Crossfire Legends. And Hopeless Land, it's by NetEase, and all the NetEase games are pretty solid. Usually they're not too buggy, at least, after they're released globally. So, there's not many bugs. They all generally work the same way, and they all feel very similar. So I'd say it's probably another B-tier game. Here we have a game called, what is it called? Last Man's Land. Last Man's Land is an interesting one. This was made by an Indian developer, and unfortunately, I just don't think this is like the proper game that people in India deserve, right? It just feels so primitive, and I think it's another one of those D-tier games. It looks buggy, it's very basic, and it's very similar to some of these other games where it feels like it was developed about 60% of the way there, and then they just released it. It's not a very good game, and I think people in India deserve something better. Next up, we got Mad Gun Z. Mad Gun Z is just like Block City Wars in that it's another pixelated battle royale game. I think it's better than Block City Wars, though, and I think it's a B-tier game. It's pretty solid. It's fun. If you like pixelated shooting games, you might want to check out Mad Gun Z because it's one of the very best ones out there. Modern Combat 5 actually has a battle royale mode. Maybe you didn't realize that, but it does, and unfortunately, it's not very good. It pains me to put it at C tier. I almost want to put it at B tier. And you know what? I'm actually going to put it at B tier. I'm going to put it at B tier, but unfortunately, there's other game modes that Modern Combat 5 has that are so much better. Like if you were to actually rank the game for, Team Deathmatch or some of these other types of game modes, then it would go up higher. But Battle Royale is kind of basic and primitive and just isn't really up to its full potential. New State Mobile, or PUBG New States, whatever you'd like to call it. I think this is an S+ tier game. This is deserving of being one of the very best mobile battle royale games that you can play right now. They created this to be the next version of PUBG Mobile, and I think they did a pretty good job. Unfortunately, there's not as many changes to the original PUBG as I would have liked, but you can't deny it's still a very solid game. A lot of people really enjoy it. The only reason it's not that popular right now is because most of the YouTubers have contracts to only play PUBG Mobile, and that's why they can't play New State yet. Maybe that'll change in the future, but as of right now, it's still a very, very good game. Here we have a game that's not very good. It's called Operation Freedom: Survival of the Fittest. This is going to be probably an F-tier game. Operation Freedom: Survival of the Fittest was a direct ripoff of PUBG, whereas a lot of these other games like Crossfire Legends and Hopeless Land take a lot of inspiration from PUBG. This game is a direct ripoff of PUBG with the same textures, the same stuff that they've added into it, and it's just so bad. There's no wonder why this game is no longer available. You can't play it anymore. So yeah, it's definitely just lost with time, and it's probably better that it is. Here we have a game called Pixel Field. Pixel Field is another pixelated shooting battle royale game, and unfortunately, I think it's going to be a C-tier game. I think it's better than some of these other really bad battle royales that are just direct ripoffs of Fortnite and PUBG and stuff like that, but this game was created many years ago, and it had its battle royale before many of the other games on this list. It was pretty much like a trailblazer in that respect, but unfortunately, games like Pixel Gun 3D and all these other games came out, and they took the battle royale idea, and they ended up being more successful than Pixel Field. Therefore, this game no longer has any development, and it's sort of stuck in like 2020, 2019. So yeah, unfortunately, it's probably a C tier now. Still maybe worth checking out. Here we have Pixel Gun 3D Battle Royale. This is another pixelated shooting battle royale game, and as much as I hate on the game, I do have to say, for a pixelated shooting battle royale game, it is the best out there that you can play right now. I personally don't think pixelated battle royale games are the best course of action. I think the pixelated shooting games should stick more with like Team Deathmatch, Deathmatch, some of these other types of game modes, but for Battle Royale, Pixel Gun 3D at least does it better than anything else. Pixel Strike Battle Royale is probably going to be a B-tier game. I don't think it's as good as Pixel Gun 3D's. I think the overall game in general is as good as Pixel Gun 3D, but I don't think their Battle Royale is as good as Pixel Gun 3D's. It's basically a more simplistic version of Pixel Gun's. Pixel Gun has more content, and it feels better when you're playing Battle Royale. Here we have Pixel Unknown's Battlegrounds. Very similar to Grand Battle Royale, you might notice a very big similarity between these two games. It's another one of these pixelated battle royale games that capitalized on Pixel Gun 3D's popularity, Minecraft's popularity, and PUBG's popularity. Nowadays, in 2022, there isn't much point in playing the game. PUBG Mobile, on the other hand, is worth trying out, and I think this is going to be an S+ tier game. It's good old classic PUBG. It's one of the OG Battle Royale games, and still, in 2022, it is awesome. I don't play it on my channel anymore, but I do have to respect it's a very good game. And unfortunately, it seems like people are just moving away from it to these other games just because it's old now. But as a game itself, if we're just looking at the overall game, it's solid. It's got so much content. It's a really good game. It feels nice, and I think it is deserving of an S+ tier rating. Pubg Lights. Pubg Lite is basically the light version of PUBG. I think it's going to be on the same level as like Battlegrounds Mobile India. So I'm going to put it as an A tier game. It's probably a good rating. But yeah, it's just basically a simpler version of PUBG. Obviously, it's not going to be ranking as high as PUBG Mobile. Rideout Heroes. This is another interesting game by NetEase where it's sort of like the Apex Legends Mobile before Apex Legends Mobile. You had these different heroes that had different abilities, and it was a very interesting graphic style that they used. I actually really enjoyed the game, and I do think the game is almost an A tier. I think maybe it's going to be a B tier rating, maybe on the same level as Creative Destruction, for instance. I don't think they're really doing any updates recently, and that's why it's not going to be as high as like Disorder and Cyber Hunter, but it's still fun, and you might want to try it out. Continuing on down the list, we got Royale. It's another one of these weird Fortnite-type games. I think it's maybe better than some of these other ones, so I'm going to put it at C tier. And really the only people, again, that would be playing that game are going to be people that have very low-end devices. It does feel better than Fight Nights and Battle Royale FPS shooter, but honestly, it's definitely a game that maybe would have been better off in like 2018. In 2022, it's sort of outdated, but you might want to give it a shot. And getting close to the end here, we have a game called Roughness Ground. It's a weird name, and you might have never heard of the game before. It's probably one of the least known games on this list. Roughness Ground is another one of these games that was developed purely to like try and beat PUBG, and they just didn't do a good job. I think I am going to put it at C tier because it's a good game for people that have lower end devices, but I don't even think you can download it. Like, I think this game was available like on specific websites, and it's not even available on the App Store or the Google Play Store. I think it might be only available in China, as a matter of fact, but yeah. It's just not very good. But a game that is still somewhat okay in terms of the Battle Royale aspect is Rules of Survival. I think Rules of Survival is going to be very similar to Knives Out in terms of its ranking. I always think of these two games as basically the same thing. They're made by the same company. There's only minor changes between Rules of Survival and Knives Out. Rules of Survival recently got a new update called Rules of Survival 2.0, which was an Escape from Tarkov mode, and that was horrible. Like, if I were to rank that game mode, it literally would be F tier. But if we're looking at the Battle Royale side of Rules of Survival, it's still okay. It's better than some of these other games. At least it still gets new updates, so I have to rank it higher than, Crossfire Legends, for instance, but I don't think it's on the same level as Battlegrounds Mobile India, Cyber Hunter, games like that. We have 3 games left. One of them is Scarfall. I'm going to rank Scarfall as an S tier game. Now, I'm ranking this based off of the fact that this is basically one of the very best games that you can download right now if you have a low-end device. It's very solid. It actually is a lot of fun. And this is a good Battle Royale game. I made a video on it not too long ago. I still really enjoy the game. I jump into it time to time when I get bored of some of these other Battle Royale games. And Scarfall deserves more recognition. It's a lot of fun. You should definitely try it out. Here we have Survivor Royale. Survivor Royale is just like Crossfire Legends and Hopeless Land, another one of these games made by NetEase that tried to compete with PUBG, and it did not successfully do it. And finally, getting to the very end of this list here, we have Ugandan Knuckles Big Chungus Battle Royale. Yes, I played this game, so you didn't have to. This game is an F tier game. No. I'm going to put this game at D tier because it's the exact same thing as Islands of Battle Royale. The only difference is you are literally controlling Ugandan Knuckles. And it's so stupid and so funny that I'm actually going to rank it higher purely because of that. But it's still not worth trying out. It is just so dumb on so many levels, but it's funny. And I think that's the most important thing. But here we have it, everybody. This is my list of every single mobile battle royale game that I've pretty much thought up and played, aside from the, hundreds of games out there that are just direct ripoffs of PUBG. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of games out there, but they're all basically the same thing as like Crossfire Legends or Battle Destruction. I just chose like one or two, so you guys could get a good idea of all of these games. But I think this is pretty much every big battle royale game out there that you can download right now for mobile devices. And let me know what you guys think. If you did enjoy this video, please take a second and hit the like button and subscribe down below for more videos just like this. It was a lot of fun making this tier list, and I would love to do more with different categories of games and stuff like that. So let me know down below in the comments what you'd like to see next. Anyways, with that being said, thank you so much, guys, and I will see you all in the next episode.